I want to just say hi to Bob because it's always one of my high points in the week to get to talk to Bob Chapman of the internationalforecaster.com. And lots going on in the economy, gold and silver. I should try to rope Ted in here towards the end of the hour. I know we got phones, too. I never got to them. I'm the only person in radio I know who doesn't lean on the callers. In fact, even though I'm exhausted, I want to be here and talk about stuff because I don't like being a slave. I want to fight. And it's just up to all of us to do our bit. And these poor brainwashed TSA people who, there's no radiation coming out of those. They've shown me the documents, they said in Las Vegas. When I was out there doing a shoot with Ventura out at some rocket bases and stuff when I was flying back out. And I have government, what'd they say, administrative privileges over you. I mean, it's just, they really believe all this bull that they tell these people. Would you like to go in a private area to be fondled? You know, that's where all of this is going, and we better do something about it. Bob Chapman, what do you think of Jesse and his lawyer being told it's a star chamber? You can only go to the appeals court before judges. That will be secret. You can't see the ruling, but it's national security, and you don't have a right to come here and challenge your Fourth Amendment being violated, to travel having your genitals grabbed over and over again and being put in microwave oven machines.
Well, it's typical. It was something that one would have expected, considering the direction that government is headed in America. And it's so reminiscent of the 1930s in Germany. I don't have to go into any detail on that because I think most people know about it. And we've just got to expose exactly what they're doing, make it front page news, and make sure everybody in the country and outside the country sees it as well. Because they are telling you you're going to do what we tell you to do. And I think it's going to cause a lot of people probably to leave the country who have the ability to do so. And I know Jesse is spending half of his year down in Baja, and don't blame him, it's a very nice place. And he doesn't have to put up with that. But when he comes back, he does. Yeah, in a third world collapsed society, he doesn't have to put up with that. North Korea, they don't grab your genitals unless you're, pulled out and they think and they take you for a strip search. They're now doing that. I mean, land of the slave, home of the coward. You're right. And this is all leading us to the next election. And if we have it, it'll probably be the last one. And hopefully we can get Ron Paul and people like him elected through the system. And then we get a shot at turning this thing around. And if we all work toward that, then maybe we can get it accomplished, because it's so important, because this is it. Well, I'm gonna hand the baton over to Paul Watson for the last 45 minutes. We got callers on hold. Hopefully you guys will get to those, at the bottom of the hour or whenever you wish, whenever Paul wishes, whenever you wish, Bob. But obviously right now Paul's probably going to bring up get your perspective on what really happened with Papandreou. And first they're going to have a referendum, and they're not. Then they are, then they aren't. Then he steps down. I mean, all this circus is what's really going on with Bob Chapman. And I'm signing off, folks. I think I've done my duty here. I've broadcasted the 27 hours. I've broadcasted 21 of them or something. So that's fun. That's a good day's work. And it's good to know we're fighting the globalists. And I appreciate all of your support out there. If you want to be part of this money bomb, InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com. You can also find the eBay auction area with a eBay auction area link on the bottom there. A lot of one-of-a-kind items that we're got around the office, bullhorns, George Bush mask, stuff like that. We only do this like once a year, if that, that are available there that go towards the money bomb. And you can also just purchase books, videos, things like that. But the prices we've got now, 14 of my films for $99.95. It's only $300 and something. Bumper stickers, packs at cost. I mean, I went and found out the cost, and that's it. What it costs to have the guys ship it, the postage, and what the stuff cost. And those are going gangbusters at Infowars.com. Paul Watson, go ahead and bring you in here briefly. What do you think of the Ventura situation? And I'm just going to say bye and listen to you, and then get into the whole Euro thing and whatever else you want to cover, my friend. Paul Watson, who heads up PrisonPlanet.com, joining us via video Skype. Now as our tail gunner, I hand you the baton.
in the final 45 minutes of the official money bomb. It'll continue throughout the weekend for folks that want to donate over the weekend. Thank you, Paul Watson.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, just to comment on the TSA and Ventura, I would add that we have had some achievements specifically as a result of people like Ventura and others standing up against the TSA. They've now had to dispense with the naked images for the body scanners. They're having to put in software which shows a generic outline image. That's an achievement. Again, this doesn't stop the groping or anything, but it's, you know, we're chipping away at it, if you like. In Britain, Britain's biggest airport, Heathrow, they've had to change the technology they use for the scanners. No longer are they using the radiation firing technology. They've had to change it to what some corporations like Sony are already using for their employees, which involves a different system which isn't harmful to health. So, you know, chipping away at it one piece by one. But again, the main issue has to be the grope downs. I mean, when I travel quite regularly in Europe and also to Asia, to China. And I mean, the difference between communist China, which is renowned for torturing and imprisoning its political dissidents, and the experience you have with Homeland Security entering, you know, land of the free. In China, you just go straight through the metal detector. Don't set it off. You go straight through. There's no pat down whatsoever. Stamp your visa. You're in the country. Bang. Homeland Security, you have to literally, and this was 7 years ago, iris scan, 5 fingerprints, you know, grope down and everything. So the difference is stark, and it shows how deep America has fallen into this tyranny. But as I said, we're chipping away.
But by the way, just interrupting, I'm back. Now I don't want to leave. We've now confirmed that in Miami, we got an email about it in a photo, but now we've checked it out. To get video games, they're now having people, or to sell them back, which they have a lot of places, they biometrically scan you with the police department. So normal commerce is now criminal. Sorry, go ahead. I'm out of here, folks. Great job, everybody. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, so, again, normal commerce is criminal. Again, they're trying to outlaw cash in Louisiana and other places. In Britain, they're trying to outlaw cash by blaming the fact that people are stealing copper and metal because of the crumbling economy. It's worth more and more. People are trying to sell it on the black market. And, of course, the government is blaming the fact that they have transactions in cash. So it's a widespread assault against our freedoms, our personal liberties, and our individual convenience down to the level of using cash. But as I said, you know, if we weren't here, it'd be a hell of a lot worse. So we're chipping away at it, and, you know, we're going to keep on doing so. So we're going to move to Bob Chapman now, TheInternationalForecaster.com. Actually, we're going to go to break, come back with Bob after the break and your calls. Stay tuned, InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com. We're back on the Alex Jones Show live, InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com, and we're joined by Bob Chapman of TheInternationalForecaster.com. Of course, earlier in the week, we saw the Greek Prime Minister Papandreou threaten to call this referendum on the EU bailout package, which in itself was largely political bluffing. Even if the Greek people had been allowed to vote, history tells us, in the case of Ireland, Denmark and France, when Europeans vote against the EU simply ignores the referendum or keeps having more referendums until they get the vote they want, as any good dictatorship would. But again, Papandreou, he brings up this idea of a referendum literally the day after Sarkozy and Merkel have a quiet word in his ear, and it's promptly dropped. And so we have this Euro bailout crisis bandwagon black comedy rolling on and on. The euro swings from one extreme to the other against the dollar on each little rumour that comes out on a day-by-day basis. Bob Chapman, I mean, give us the latest on this euro crisis. I want to know, how can a problem with Greece and these other pigs countries that was caused by taking on too much debt possibly be solved by taking on yet more debt?
Well, obviously it cannot. That's easy to figure out. It's the saving of the euro and the Eurozone and the European Union. And I think that Papandreou probably, first, introduced this referendum thinking that it might get him out of the situation that he was in as easily as possible. And, of course, when he went to Cannes yesterday, he was told unceremoniously, I'm sure, what are you doing? Why would you do a thing like that? You know, the polls show 60 to 70% of the people are going to vote no. And even if you twist the question that's to be answered yes or no, you're not going to fool that many people because they expect you to post something like that. And so now they're having a meeting to see if they want to keep Mr. Papandreou in office. A confidence or non-confidence vote, which is very, very close. And I'm sure that somebody there from Pasek is running around with a bushel basket of 500 euro notes saying, we want you to vote for us. And that's probably what's going on. Samaras is a shade better, but no great shake. Those two were roommates at Harvard, for those of you who don't know that. And they used to be in the same party together till they had a minor falling out, and Samaras formed his own party. And I don't think he's going to do that much to help. But the people in Greater Europe, in the powerful positions, want a yes on the second bailout. That's what they're interested in. They don't want anybody leaving the euro. That's really what it's about. But the problems don't end there. You've got the German Constitutional Court before the end of the year is going to say whether the second bailout and the committee of 12 that they formed to bypass legislation in Germany and the ability to leverage is legal under the German Constitution. And the politicians have already been told in Germany it's not legal. And so where is that going to go? It's going to be interesting to see. You can go allocate the money, but until the German Constitutional Court makes their decision, they can't leverage it. And they do that by using derivatives instead of having just about $500 billion, of which Germany put up half of it. That money would grow to $1.4 trillion if leverage is allowed and derivatives are allowed. But the hook is this. What's it going to cost to clean up the six-nation mess between $4 and $6 trillion? They don't have that kind of money. And even if they printed it, inflation in Europe would go ballistic. And so you haven't seen the end of this thing yet.
But say Greece leaves the euro, it goes back to the drachma, it rebuilds its economy from the ground up. You know, it's a haven for tourism. It's possible that it could do that. Why are they so afraid of what would happen if Greece was to leave the euro? Is it because it's going to be a domino effect for the whole Eurozone? We'll get your answer after the break, Bob, because we're going to commercial now. InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com. Stay tuned. We're talking to Bob Chapman of TheInternationalForecaster.com. Stay there.